Hello everyone, this is Jeremy Lee here doing his Module 4 response video. Hope you all have a very great day. I'm going to focus a lot of my response topics on Danny as I really related to a lot of things that he said. So without further ado, here I go. So, Danny, I like the point that you made about gender-neutral restrooms. I think that that's a very great idea. I think that I know it's happening in a lot of different places. I know some institutions have also taken a chance on gender-neutral restrooms. Myself personally, I think I would have no problem with it. My mother and I were talking about it recently because Concord Mills is considering adding some gender-neutral restrooms to their mall, and they're just going to have general you can go inside and use the restroom. To myself, I thought it was pretty cool the fact that you can have that option if you choose not to identify, or if you identify as transgender, there's an option for you to go to the gender neutral restroom. And I think that's pretty great. Of course, that took a bit of educating for my mother to understand what that meant because she's not familiar with the need for gender neutral restrooms. And of course, to her, she, to her mind, saw her son going to the bathroom with his girlfriend of choice, and yeah, that was not a good conversation at all. But I did like the idea. I even think that I recently heard about an idea of how the English language is beginning to prepare to add a new surname toward names. So you have like Mr., Ms., Mrs., Miss with an MISS. They're looking into adding a new one. It was like an MRX or MSX, I think was what it was. And it's kind of to X to symbolize someone who's actually transgender. And they can use that as an optional surname in some areas. And they're looking into starting to establish it in places as well. So I thought it was kind of great that we're beginning to push those conversations forward to the right direction. And I think the idea of communicating those ideas of what transgender really means. For myself personally, the first time I learned of a transgender person, actually was an interesting story related to my bathrooms. I was at Winston-Salem State, and we were having a HIV awareness day with HIV screenings on December 1 to celebrate HIV Awareness Month. And so I was in the restroom, actually, using the restroom, and there was a young gentleman in the bathroom as well. And he started a conversation with me, so we kind of were just talking about college and school and things like that, and my fraternity, whatever have you. And so at the point of time, we washed our hands and walked out of the room. And after a film was being shown, that same young gentleman went to the front and explained he was actually transgender, and he actually began to talk as a woman. Did not care for to be identified as such. He actually had the surgical process done to become a man. And so to me, it blew my mind the fact that it happened. He came back and kind of and like appreciated the fact that I never really actually questioned his business in the bathroom at the time, because in my mind we're just using the restroom. And so he told me that actually it's not always the case. There are times people will look at him kind of sideways in the restroom, even though to me he appeared as a male. So people will actually kind of like question if he really is a man and why he's in the restroom. So it opened my eyes to discussing a lot about transgender students and what that means, and it was just through a bathroom conversation. So I think that we need to make sure our students are really able to understand that transgender students are very much so present on our college campuses, that they deserve the same amount of respect as we do, and that you should refer to them however they want to be referred to. So I think that's something the class opened my eyes to. I think life's opened mine to as well. So it's been very great. But that's kind of my main topic. So without further ado, folks, thank you all. Have a good afternoon.